Here we are, episode number 1. I have my lovely colleagues, Aubrey, my girlfriend, Tanner, one of my best friends, to walk the earth. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys. Super excited we're able to put this together. I know it's been kind of a few weeks in the making, but I think we got a good crew, and I think this is going to be a blast. But yeah, welcome to the Bleacher Bumps. My name is Cole. Just a little fun fact about me. I went to the University of South Carolina. I did 4 years. I was there during the bad years. I got 1 good year of Jadeveon Clowney. That's about it. Last night someone told me I have a receding hairline. So that's how my day is going so far.
Tanner? I see that beanie is strategically
Yeah, but that's the thing. I have
placed.
All right. Let's come on. I mean, receding hairline?
I think whoever you were out last night, I think whoever told you that was probably drinking a little bit.
It's fucked up.
Because I'm a little bit self-conscious about mine. Hand to God, I'm a him subscriber, so maybe they want to sponsor us.
Yeah. I literally texted Brock, and I was like, someone literally told me I have a receding hairline last night. Like I was shot. I was shot. I was so bummed out. But you know what? I believe in myself. I actually think I'm fine. But maybe in the future, I don't know. Do I start taking hair pills? Like, do I even worry about it? What do you think?
I don't know, but I think that's probably like the worst thing a girl could say to me at this point in my life is that you have a receding hairline.
Yeah,
that would just cut me to my core.
My father's got plenty of hair, so I think I'll be all right. And at least it wasn't Aubrey that told me it.
No, I like your hair. Yeah. You have great hair.
Thank you.
Well, I've heard it's the mom side of the gene. So if your maternal grandpa was a bald guy, screwed. And unfortunately, mine is a cue ball.
Maternal grandpa.
Oh Lord.
All right, Tanner, you wanna introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'll jump in there now that you guys know the worst thing a girl could say to me at a bar. I'm Tanner. Went to high school with Cole. We played sports growing up. I went to rival SEC school, as you can see right here.
We almost went to school together.
We did almost go to school together. South Carolina didn't want me, but it worked out. It worked out fine.
Yeah.
I had a similar sports time at Tennessee than Cole. I got to see some good wins. Florida win at home was probably the highlight of my time there, but am also big DC sports fan, and I know Cole likes some of the New York teams,
Giants and Yankees, and then I'm not gonna lie, I have an allegiance. Obviously, I'm wearing an Avalanche jersey, so you can. I am what you would probably call a fair weather fan in a sense, but I did work for the team for 2.5, 3 years, and it's hard not to fall in love, especially because they're good.
That's valid.
Yeah.
That's valid.
Yeah.
That's valid.
That's where we met.
And the Rangers kind of fell off at the time, and like me and my dad weren't watching, and I was kind of like had allegiance to the Caps. Yeah, I'm a fair weather fan. Let's just put it that way. Aubrey, would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, I am from Dodge City, Kansas. I went to K-State, Big 12 school.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Emaw.
Like
that.
Emaw. Was there during the Bill Snyder era, so that was awesome. But
the cute old man.
Cutest old man.
That just never wanted to leave.
All 40 years of the Bill Snyder era.
Yeah.
Yep.
My dad.
Very cool.
Me. All of us. Yeah.
Cool.
Good times.
You want to kick us off?
Yeah. All right. So the hottest topic in the NFL right now, Deshaun Watson. Where's he gonna go?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Tanner, you want to kick this one off?
Yeah. So things have been kind of rocky ever since pretty much Bill O'Brien was fired and kind of the season ended. I think they did, pretty terrible. Maybe 3 to 4 wins.
Dude, I think they lost like 7 to 8 games, maybe even more by 1 score or less.
Yeah.
They were always in it. They can never pull through. And I feel bad. I felt bad for Deshaun,
He's definitely a hell of a talent. I think he's a top 5 quarterback right now. Mm-hmm. He's 24 years old, but Bill O'Brien, when he pretty much sunk that entire franchise by.
Well, why the hell do you give him a GM capabilities? That's my question.
I was actually a fan of his because I watched him on Hard Knocks.
Because was he at Penn State beforehand?
He was at Penn State for a hot minute.
That's right.
He was head coach maybe 1 year. He actually replaced Paterno. And then the NFL came calling, and he jumped ship to go be the coach of the Texans. But he made some decisions, trading DeAndre Hopkins away, trading picks for Laramie Tunsil. They don't have a first-round pick this year. I don't think they have a first-round pick next year. So here's Deshaun Watson, looking at the team around him saying, man, I got to get the hell out of Houston, because he thinks this is going to be a dead-end road for him in his career, because he's got nothing around him. O'Brien kind of torpedoed, the organization,
I don't
and
blame
he
him.
thinks he should get out. But I think there could be something to happen for both sides, definitely. I mean, obviously it's hard to trade a franchise quarterback like Deshaun, but I think it could be a chance for the Texans to get some draft capital back, maybe get some young talent back, and try to slap a Band-Aid on what Bill O'Brien messed up.
I think it is 100% a no-brainer, because he basically said that if you don't trade me, I'm not going to play. So what's the point of not trading him? Why would you not trade him, especially if teams are throwing out 3-4 first-round picks and a talent to go along with it? You can start your rebuild immediately. There's no, okay, we can start in 2 years from now, 3 years. Like, go get the picks that you don't have. Go get some really young, good players and start over. I mean, the craziest part, too, is like J.J. Watt comes out, and I know J.J. Watt is not as valuable, and we'll get to him in a little bit, not as valuable as Deshaun Watson, but he said he wanted to get traded, and they just release him.
Yeah.
Don't you think they could have gotten, like, maybe a couple of picks, even if they were second, third-round picks? I mean, why? Like,
Yeah,
what
that
was
was
the deal with
all.
that?
That was all kind of strange to me, and I know like the money had something to do with it. But I guess releasing him was just the easier thing to do for them at the time.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make a ton of sense.
I just think the Texans would be absolutely insane to not trade Deshaun Watson. I mean, you have teams out there. I think Miami's probably the best suitor for them, and he already said he's willing to be traded there. Miami they have 2 first-round picks this year. They have the most I think they have the most cap space. The only area that I think they're lacking talent is the wide receiver position. So when you bring Deshaun Watson there, granted, Deshaun Watson's going to level up everybody. So I think Devontae Parker can become a true number 1. I think he can be. I don't know.
I might disagree with you there a little bit. I think he might be better number 2, but it's an interesting point that you bring up their cap space. Obviously, that's going to go away a little bit.
Yeah, let me look that up, actually.
If they bring in Deshaun Watson's contract, but this is a really good year for free agent receivers. You got a lot of them out there.
Massive year. And I'm, as a Giants fan, I'm excited because, I think we can go out because we need another receiver, and that's another conversation. I'd love to go get Kenny Galladay.
He's interesting.
He's
and
big.
I think he's going to be the people that swing and miss on Allen Robinson are going to be looking at him, and I think Juju kind of are going to be. There's going to be like the same, like kind of next best person that they could get.
Yeah. I don't know. Juju has rubbed me wrong since he started dancing on logos and doing TikToks and stuff. It's so funny.
They're all just like him and Claypool are kind of weird.
Weirdos.
They're just kind of weird, and
then
I don't know.
After they got their ass kicked, they were just being all bitter about it on like Twitch or something. I think Claypool was like playing video games, and he's like, yeah, we lost to the Browns, but they're gonna get their ass clapped by the Chiefs next week. It's like, dude, you have no room to talk. You just got your shit kicked in. Like, come on. Are you that jealous?
It's weird.
Granted, he's a 22, 23-year-old kid, but I don't know. I just think that's a little outrageous. What are your thoughts, Aubrey? Where do you think Deshaun would end up if you had to choose?
I'm biased. I want him to go to the Broncos.
I mean, the Broncos were thrown out there.
Yeah.
By him too in his camp. So you know that he's signed off on it.
Do they have? I mean, what do they have to give? All right, because they have receivers. They have good receivers. They got Cortland Sutton. This KJ Hamler kid kind of came along a little bit towards the end of the season. He's a very small, speed guy.
He could be a good weapon.
Deshaun Hamilton's not bad either.
No, he isn't.
Not
he
bad.
isn't.
They just all struggle with health throughout the year.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Drew Lock's. I don't know if he's the guy, but Elway has always struggled with picking the right quarterbacks. So
Minus Peyton.
were you two exposed much to like Drew Lock when you were living there? Like how? What's his vibe?
Well, so here's something funny. So all the kids I hung out with in Colorado, they went to Boulder. Shout out Denver crew, all my Boulder homies.
Okay.
And Drew Lock's girlfriend went to Boulder. I can't remember. Natalie, I think her name's Natalie Newman. I don't want to be weird and like call her, you know what I mean? But we're already talking about Drew Lock. And they think they always make jokes about Drew Lock and them dating because I think she used to date one of their friends. And then they like broke up, and then a couple months later she was dating Drew Lock, and this guy was just like, I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You
Well, the reason I bring that up too is because like he seems like kind of a cool guy, like on the sidelines, like rapping "Soul Survivor."
Yeah.
And he was doing that. But I heard that also like another person. We're like all in Drew Lock's past, but he dated like the Hunt girl from Kansas City.
Oh.
The daughter of the owner. So it's Lamar Hunt. Is he a Lamar Hunt Jr.?
Why am I blanking?
So the Hunts started the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Oh, do they own the team? Is that
They own the team.
They own the team.
They
Okay.
own the team and like maybe a soccer team in Kansas City.
So when he was going to school
Sporting
at Missouri.
KC.
Yeah,
So
I
when
think
he was
they
at
own
school at
them
Mizzou,
too.
that's when he was
Potentially, it's kind of checkered, but I mean, the family's probably worth like $1 billion, and they own the Chiefs. So everyone was like, Drew Lock, like, what the hell are you doing? And like,
Right.
it doesn't hurt that like she's smoking hot either.
Yeah.
So
She
Yeah.
is very
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah.
Yes.
Am I allowed? Yeah, she's good looking. Yeah.
You're allowed.
you know.
It's fine.
But I want to go back to this Deshaun. I know we got a little off topic there. So I want to talk about the hire that they made. And essentially what really was the tipping point for Deshaun Watson was the hire of David Culley, the passing game coordinator from the Ravens. And I want to hear your take on this because when I first saw it, I mean, you think about all the options that were on the table. You had, Bieniemy. I mean, he's at the top. Maybe there's something going on there as to why. I mean, we can elaborate on that too.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks is like I think Andy Reid's still really calling that game.
You think so?
I
Because I have another
mean,
theory
does
on
it not
him.
feel like that?
I have another theory on him not taking a job, and I think maybe he is looking at Patrick Mahomes attached to the Chiefs for what did he sign? 10-year extension. Andy Reid's an old guy. Now he's got
eating
some
shit ton of cheeseburgers.
Yeah, he's an old guy. He's not going to be around forever. Maybe he's coaching waiting, and he's like, well, how would I why would I want to detach myself from probably the best quarterback in the NFL right now?
Yeah, I mean,
But I hear
a
what
good
you're
point.
saying. I hear what you're saying too, because he's had other disciples that are not doing so well. Matt Nagy is kind of up and down with Chicago. Doug Peterson just lost his gig with the Eagles.
right.
For reasons probably
Is that all that's all in the same tree?
those guys all came from all were OCs at Kansas City
Okay.
at one time.
Yeah.
So I think there might be some truth to what you're saying. as
Okay,
far
so
as-
basically, yeah. So what they're saying is they're looking at the history of the
Right.
guys that have come out of Kansas City. I mean, Peterson won. I mean, he won a Super Bowl.
No, he did.
And Nagy, they barely snuck into the playoffs this last year.
They did.
Yeah,
they ended
but-
up with like a wild card team.
I mean, no one was impressed with the Bears though.
No.
Yeah. So, I mean, that one's tough. But David Culley. I mean, where the hell did this come from? I mean, what was the connection there? Where did that?
It's pretty random.
The guy has never called a play in the NFL.
He hasn't, and I don't know if he's ever even been an offensive coordinator. I don't know exactly. I know that the players that do play for him like love the guy. Like he's definitely like really beloved by his players, but he comes from Baltimore last year, where I think their biggest flaw was their inability to pass the ball, and he was the passing game coordinator. But I think that something that is important to remember when talking about the Texans and that job, we just talked about the reasons that Deshaun Watson doesn't want to go there. They look like a team with no future. So
Why would a
I
coach
think
wanna
I
go
think
there?
they were getting no's. I think they were getting a lot of no's.
Yeah, especially knowing that if you go there, Deshaun Watson might not even be there next season.
Exactly.
Like why? So now you go there and then you draft a quarterback. I mean, granted, there's a lot of good quarterbacks in the draft, but you're starting from zero.
You are.
Absolutely zero. Like, yeah, that's going to take 5-6 years to get out of a hole. And as we all know, the lifespan of NFL coaches nowadays is like if you don't put a good season together in 2-3 years, there's no excuses, first of all. I mean, granted, there are excuses that we can look at as to why these guys are getting fired quickly, but it doesn't matter to the GM or the owner. Like, if you're not putting out results and you're not getting us into the playoffs,
Right.
you're gone. Which I think is also ridiculous too. Like, if you look, I think that was the old days things. Guys would work through with coaches. They'd try and get through it. And now it's like 2 years, 3 years. All right, you're done. Moving on, right? So
You don't give anybody. No one gets enough time.
trying-
That could be a whole topic for another day.
because remember what happened to your boy at Tennessee that was coaching?
He's gone.
Well, no,
Jeremy Pruitt.
No, before him, Butch. Remember what happened to him? The short hair guy.
I remember it very well, unfortunately.
Yeah, no. Well, the reason, the reason I said that is 'cause I remember what happened. He got fired, and then he literally was hired as an intern at Alabama. They
Yeah.
labeled him as an intern. I was like, that is, a slap in the face. Like, he couldn't be an OC or a DC somewhere.
Yeah, he
goes straight to an intern in Alabama, which is where coaches go to revive their career, essentially. Sark went there.
It worked out for Sarkisian. It worked out for Lane Kiffin.
And now O'Brien's on the way.
Butch Jones did just get a head coaching job. He's going to Arkansas State, which is a respectable program.
Yeah.
Respectable. I mean, Gus Malzahn coached there. I'm pretty sure Hugh Freeze coached
really?
there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're definitely relevant.
What
I think.
What do they even play in?
Oh, Sunbelt, maybe?
Sunbelt?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Sunbelt. But I think he wasn't ready for the big time.
Right.
And that could be something I could go off on. So I won't get too fired up about it. But I think he's gonna succeed more at a program of that caliber.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's enough of that one. Let's say price tag on Deshaun. I'm gonna say it probably 4 first-round picks.
You think
3?
4?
It's gonna be 4, or it's got to be 3 and like a really good player, and maybe like a second or a third.
Yeah, I think 2 firsts, no doubt about it, and then maybe second and third, and the player, like you mentioned.
I think you're lowballing.
You think that's lowballing?
I think it's got to be at least 3 first-round picks.
I'm trying to remember.
And there's really only one team. There's really only one team that's willing to do it. It's Miami, and they've been going after it. And again, we'll leave it at that. The Texans are absolutely insane if they don't look to trade Deshaun Watson. But all right. In other news, J.J. Watt recently signed with the Cardinals. He faked everybody out. I don't know if you saw that on his Peloton account. So on his Peloton account, you can have like a bio, and I think he put Green Bay, Cleveland, and why am I blanking on the third team?
Probably Pittsburgh.
And Pittsburgh, something like that.
Yeah.
And then literally the next day he signs with the Cardinals, and he goes, "Source me." I always thought J.J. Watt was such a hardo kind of like cheese ball.
He definitely is.
I like him a lot.
Yeah. Okay. What?
He's okay.
He does a lot of good stuff.
He does.
In the community.
He does do good stuff.
I'm not saying he doesn't. He's just.
That's just why I like him.
He is kind of a Jim Hardo. You see the videos like him working out. When he was on Hard Knocks, he stayed an hour and a half after practice
For the cameras, probably.
Some people say for the cameras. I really do think he works out super hard, but he gets made fun of just for being cheesy.
Yeah.
The videos of him working out, he'll put remember the name by Fort Minor in the background. I mean, it's a great song. I would
10% luck, 20% skill, 50% concentrated power of will.
And him singing along in the video is just the cringiest thing in the world. But you'd be hard pressed to find somebody that doesn't have that song on their workout playlist.
Speaking of cringy, the Bose commercials where it's the headphones and it's McCaffrey, Lamar, and Patrick Mahomes. Have you seen those where they're sitting there dancing and stuff like that? The way Patrick Mahomes is kind of a cringe guy too. He's the man. He's the best quarterback in the league. Don't get me wrong. But when he dances and the way he talks, he sounds like I don't even know how to explain it. He's kind of a nerd too. I think Mahomes is such a nerd.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he's such a nerd.
I love him.
He's a little awkward. So J.J. Watt with the Cardinals. Where do we think that does this put the Cardinals into does this make them a playoff team? Because they were pretty damn close. They kind of fell off towards the end of the year.
They're going to go as far as Kyler can take them. And he had a really good start to the season. And then to end, he was inconsistent at best, probably.
Is that a line problem?
I think that has something to do with it. Yeah. They're just not, they haven't figured it all out yet. It was only Kingsbury's second year. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it was Kyler's second year. The DeAndre Hopkins trade obviously was
amazing,
a huge plus for them.
Steal. So it was a second round pick, right?
Yeah,
something crazy
and
like that.
David Johnson.
Another reason the Texans are fucking terrible.
Yeah, there's a lot of signs you could point to Houston's demise, but it's an eh.
Yeah.
I don't think it's. I mean, it's great for him because what's going to get $24 million guaranteed?
Yeah, something. He's still going to contribute. I mean, he's not the player he used to be, and I hope he proves me wrong. I always hope these guys prove me wrong, just because that would make for good football.
Yeah.
To see J.J. Watt getting after it and sacking the quarter and staying healthy. Honestly, he's always hurt.
He is hurt a lot.
He's always hurt. But yeah, him and Chandler Jones could be a force. Who knows? Maybe it could revive his career. He's playing for the Texans. So
Yeah.
he was always on the field because their defense.
Yeah, or not on it because of injuries, like we said.
True.
Yep.
I don't know. Scottsdale's probably gonna be a pretty good place to live.
Yeah.
For
I've never been. Have you been?
I've not been.
Yeah, we
But
got.
I've heard good
TPC.
things.
We got to go to the waste management.
Yes.
That's a party.
We go next year.
That is
I've
a
been.
party. You've been?
Yes.
I
How
think-
was that experience?
Is it Super Bowl Sunday week? Is it that week?
Yes,
Super Bowl?
always.
Yeah.
And when I was there, the Super Bowl was in Phoenix, so
Oh,
it was
man.
just
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
I
we
bet
gotta
there
go.
were a lot of I'm sure celebrities go every year, but I bet that year over others.
It was wild.
Everyone
So
was like,
fun.
"Oh yeah, we're gonna
Insane.
do waste management and Super Bowl all in the same weekend."
Yeah.
I can imagine the people that were flying private planes into whatever
Right.
airport is there
Scottsdale.
in Scottsdale
Yeah, it's
that
probably
week.
it's probably so lit. I need to go. I
It's
I heard
always around my birthday, so
what is it? The
get some ideas. And,
Dad, what is it? Is it the six? Is the 16th hole? The stadium hole?
yeah,
People will get there at like 4 in the morning to
5
line
in the
up.
morning lineup. Yeah.
And then they-
started by a bunch of people from Minnesota,
Yeah.
so they all wear Vikings.
Yeah. And I think they open the thing and everybody just runs in. It's like free for all, and everybody runs straight to 16, just booking it.
Well, there was a hole in one, and everyone chugged their drinks and then threw them, so the entire hole was covered
really?
in booze. So
No
they
way.
had to they had to clean it off. I don't know. It's funny.
The best one ever is when Tiger hit a hole in one there. That place went bananas. They
Wild.
said it was like they were in a football stadium. It was so loud.
Mhm.
It just one hop, boom, and of course it was Tiger. Tiger just getting all fired up.
No,
But yeah,
that's
the
awesome.
JJ Watt, this is like kind of interesting. Just something we wanted to talk about. I don't really give a shit about JJ Watt, but figured we throw that in for you
I
guys.
like him.
He's a hard out. Let's move on. Now, another similar situation to Deshaun Watson, not as severe. Russell Wilson, there has been some rumblings of him being unhappy in Seattle. What are your thoughts, Tanner? I mean, I really don't think he gets traded, right? I mean,
I don't think you can trade him. I think him and his people are trying to put the word out there that he wants a little bit more influence. I think that's at the root of all this.
so you think you're just trying to use it as leverage to be more involved in?
I think that's part of it, but I think I've heard that the relationship with him and Pete Carroll is like damaged.
Interesting.
So
Pete Carroll, isn't he the oldest coach in the NFL right now?
he's over 70.
Yeah.
He's over 70.
Yeah. Still chewing the same piece of gum from
And
2005.
he likes to pound the rock. Russell Wilson obviously wants to throw it all over the field.
He's 69.
He's 69.
Nice.
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 Yeah. He wants to.
Nice
he wants
work, Aubrey. Great fact check right there.
He wants to chuck it all over the field though, and Pete doesn't. And I also think he wants a little bit more say of like who they're gonna go out and acquire. Obviously, they kind of lucked into DK Metcalf in what was it, the 3rd round that they got him.
Unreal. You
So-
you redraft, he's a top 10 pick probably.
Right. I think he's gotten a big ego.
DK?
No, Russell has gotten a big ego.
Speaking of cheese balls, he's another cheese ball.
He is.
Oh my gosh.
But he's like now.
It's like there's always a camera on him.
He's like a celebrity now. He's married a celebrity.
Ciara?
Sierra.
Yeah.
She's
He's
awesome.
She's cool.
He's taking some care of somebody else's kid.
Have you ever
Oh.
seen
Futures
that
future son.
meme of him throwing the pick to Malcolm Butler, like at the end of the Super Bowl?
No, I haven't, but what
It's bad radio talk because we don't have a visual, but
Yeah.
it's basically like him throwing the little Future Junior, and then they put Future's head on Malcolm Butler's body, and he's like snagging the baby.
That's so ridiculous.
It's kind of ridiculous.
Oh
But
my
I think he's gotten a little bit of a big head.
Yeah, I mean, I love Russ. I think he's got to be in the top 5 quarterback conversation, right? Top 7? There's I mean, the quarterbacks in the league right now are phenomenal. So
He's no doubt up there.
they could interchange. I mean,
He's gonna be one of the first ones you say.
Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. You got to say him. He's not without sin though, because like he can maybe blame it on scheme if he wants to, but he was not a world beater last year by any means.
Well, he was hot in the beginning of the season.
Right? They started off like I think maybe like 6-0 or 7-0.
They do that I feel like they do that every year.
Yeah, they were maybe 6-0, 7-0.
But that's the thing is they run the ball really well though. Like Chris Carson when he's healthy is I'd say, you can't compare people to Derrick Henry, but I'd say he's similar in a way that he can carry the workload of 25 carries a game, just up the middle, inside the tackles, and he actually became a lot better in the passing game last year. They got him a little more involved.
He's a good player, and he's also someone they probably picked in like the 6th round, so he's good value.
Yeah.
He'll probably never get anher deal, and they just will churn him and burn him.
So what does Russ need then? So obviously there's a little bit of riff. Does he need another receiver? I mean, he's got Lockett and
DK. Yeah, I think he wants to air it out. I think that's maybe at the root of all this.
Like you mean like 40 times a game, like all the other teams are doing right now?
Yeah.
I mean, he can. He's a great passer. He's a really good passer.
Mm-hmm.
But how much does that change the dynamic? Do you think they would be better throwing the ball more, or do you think? I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah.
Because I thought they had a really good balanced offense. Because when they're rolling, they had one of the best offenses in the league, and then something kind of happened. I don't even know what happened. I think it was when they lost to the Giants, or did they lose?
They did.
Yeah, they lost to the Giants.
They totally did.
They lost to the Giants, and then it kind of like started falling apart there a little bit. They couldn't get points on the board, and you're kind of like, what's going on? So if he does get traded, if he were to get traded, what's the best place?
You'd have to look at teams that could.
I already have one.
That would have enough. You know what I'm saying? Like enough to throw at them to get them.
I think the Saints would be a great spot.
That would be lit. That would be really cool.
Yep.
That would be really cool.
Because, I mean, I granted, I think they plan on going to Jameis if that doesn't happen. But, I mean,
I'd want Russell over Jameis. Like, I mean, anyone.
Dude,
That's
think
like,
about the quarterback.
goes without saying.
The quarterbacks in that division, Tom, Russell, who else is in there? The Falcons?
Yeah.
Matt Ryan. I actually think Matt Ryan's still got a little juice left in him.
They'll probably draft someone. I think we're gonna do. We're gonna have a pretty NFL draft heavy episode here, and the coming weeks.
Right.
I think Atlanta's ready to get someone in the future, but Ryan will start for the next couple of years. I think as like a stopgap.
Yeah. Aubrey, what are your thoughts? You have any thoughts? You don't have to have any.
Nope. Nope.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot there, to be honest.
Do we think Sierra likes living in Seattle, or does she want to go somewhere else?
It's always raining, right? Is it still raining?
I've never been to Seattle. I
haven't either.
I know nothing about it.
Well, if you look at the teams he asked for, Chicago. Did he say New Orleans?
I don't remember hearing New Orleans.
He definitely
on
said
there.
Miami.
Was that one of them?
And I think he might have even said the Jets. So
Okay.
Miami,
No
Chicago,
Broncos?
New York. So
Big city.
because guess what? It's going to be better for Sierra to be in one of those big cities for her career.
And she's a priority.
Does she make more money than Russell? She might.
I don't know. He signed a pretty big
She's
deal.
like a model and shit, right?
Singer,
She's a singer.
Model, singer.
Singer.
great music.
Can you name one of her songs?
I can name
Not off
one.
the top of my head.
I can name one, and it's Goodies,
Goodies?
Yes.
which is probably
Inappropriate?
circa 5th grade. No, I don't think it's inappropriate. But that was like the one that I know of hers.
Like a boy.
I still can't get over the Russell Wilson future dynamic. That's so funny.
It is funny.
All right, I'm going to pull something up here.
Speaking of
By the way,
funny,
Russell Wilson
wild.
put his list out of where he wanted to go.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Which is
Are the Broncos on the list?
Bears, or maybe this isn't it, but the Saints, Dallas,
Dallas,
Vegas,
that was the other one.
Vegas.
Dallas would be
Vegas.
crazy. I think Dallas would be dumb not to sign Dak, but they have other issues they need to worry about. All right, I'm going to throw this up on a screen. Tyreek Hill is a freak. We already knew that.
We did know that.
We already knew that. But
The cheetah.
this man with a basketball in his hands, I mean, this is just outrageous. Let's pull it up here. Come on, where we at?
So
There we
I
go.
saw this too when I was kind of scrolling Instagram, and I guess this is just some high school in Miami that.
Really? That's where he is?
Yeah,
Oh my
he's like
God.
hanging out there in the off season. Who wouldn't want to be in Florida right now?
He's nice,
Hey,
though.
it's open.
Look at this
Let's
window.
all go.
Oh, my
Yes.
Let's all
God.
go. We were just
Yeah.
there for my birthday. It was
Jesus, dude.
the best.
So
that dunk is so fresh.
this is a guy that's probably 5'9", 5'10" on a good day.
Like 190 maybe. He's built. Like he's strong as shit.
It definitely speaks to his vertical that he can do that.
Yeah.
Let's
I mean
watch that one more
Yeah,
time.
we'll watch that one more time. Let me let me just refresh the page. Yeah, so I actually ended up watching like more of that like actual clip, there's a thing of him actually playing. And dude, he's got a jump shot. Like he's left-handed. Like he's actually a pretty good basketball player. But I mean, this is just that's not fair.
That's it. That's insane. So
you're saying you can't do that?
No.
They made a movie about me and Colts. White men can't jump. So
Yeah, I think I could touch the rim at any point in my life.
When you just gotta look at their feet, and when you see how high they get off the ground, it's like insane to think about. And that's why, like the dude that won the dunk contest, Nate Robinson, like they say that if you're taller, it like doesn't look as cool. So you'd be at like a disadvantage if you were like 6'11" in the NBA dunk contest,
Right.
as like opposed to like a
Like
guy
when
that's
Dwight
like
Howard did it that
6'5"
one
with
year?
bunnies. Dwight was like the exception to the rule just because he was so athletic that it
Superman.
didn't matter.
Yeah, he was pretty legit. But yeah, so I just wanted to touch on that because that guy's a freak. But so if you're a coach, right? Let's say you're Andy Reid.
Okay.
Andy Reid's pretty laid back. Sees the whole video. Obviously, they're in the off season. He's playing basketball, like 5-on-5 with these high school kids. And maybe this is just the boomer in me, but like, should he really be doing that?
I
Like,
know
if
some people.
If he's gonna get hurt, they'd want it to be on the football field where he's supposed to be focusing.
Our guy Patrick Mahomes got in trouble. If you remember, like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
he was playing basketball. Had a viral video of him at a Lifetime.
Oh, he got in
Fitness,
trouble for
and
that?
he got in trouble. They were like, "Yeah, probably don't want to be playing pickup against guys like me and you
Yeah.
out there."
Hey, if you stop playing basketball, we'll pay you $200 million.
Well, I think there was stuff in his contract that he just signed, the really big one that was like forbidding him from getting on jet skis, snowboarding,
Anything that can hurt him.
Yeah, pretty much anything that could damage,
He's
this.
a fragile human.
He is. He's an expensive human. He's got a really big salary.
Expensive cargo.
And he's getting paid to, be the best quarterback in the
Damn.
NFL for the next 10 years.
Can't ride a jet ski for 10 years.
For $500 million. I think I'd take the $500 million over the jet ski rides.
No, for sure.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. I can say that with clarity.
I would have no problem. I'd probably lock myself in my room for $500 million.
That's aggressive.
That takes it to a new place.
Okay, well, I
you said you'd lock yourself in your room.
I didn't
but
say
for
for how long. I didn't
Yeah.
say okay. That had no context.
Oh, well.
How we doing on time right now? Good. About 30 minutes in. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All
We're
right.
good.
Just want to
Let's
make
talk. Let's talk college basketball.
sure. Okay.
So, thoughts here.
Mhm.
Will Gonzaga go all the way, undefeated, national champion, or no?
No. Tanner.
I also think no.
No.
I think they're an incredible team right now, but they go through this every year where they don't play a super tough schedule. And granted, they have some wins against big teams like early on, but their conference just isn't. They don't get battle tested
Not nearly enough.
in that conference, and March something happens in March. Like it's just crazy. There's bound to be upsets. There's going to be people that make it to the Final Four that you never thought were going to make it there.
Go Gamecocks.
That they're an example. What were they, like an 11 seed?
They were 7 seed.
A 7 seed. Okay.
So they were a seed that had won before. So they actually had a look, right? Like anything, I think NC State, when they won that 1 year with Jimmy V, they were a 9 seed. And that's the highest seed that's ever won. But yeah, I mean, that was, we'll get into that later, but let's talk about Gonzaga. But yeah, I mean, obviously at 24-0 with the history they have of just demolishing teams during the season, it's hard not to put them at 1. But yeah, I just don't see. I think Kentucky that 1 year they were undefeated with like Devin Booker and those guys. They didn't win, right? They went like 37-0 and then they lost. I think in the tournament. It's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's a law of like averages.
They ended up losing to, I believe, Wichita State.
Wichita State
in the second
Shockers.
round.
Go Shockers.
Go
Shockers.
Shockers. Go Shockers.
Kansas.
Gotta represent.
Okay, so if Gonzaga doesn't win, I mean, who are your picks? Because I've always been a fan of the Big 12,
Okay.
but they don't do well in the tournament. I looked actually at the last in terms of winning the tournament. I went through the last 20 years. Kansas was the only Big 12 team to win in the last 20 years in 2008. That's it. And I was like, there's no way. because they dominate. They're usually really good. They usually have 4 or 5
Yeah.
teams come out of there that are solid. Because right now they got Baylor, West Virginia, Kansas, Texas, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech. That's 15, 16, 17, 18. All right there.
And other than Baylor, I don't feel confident about any of those going far.
Yeah. I love Baylor. I love gambling on Baylor too. They're
I
usually
think
a good team to bet on.
Baylor
Gamble?
is probably
Top 4.
they were the best team in the country in my opinion, but they just are coming off of losing a game, so they had kind of a tough week, and they went in that thriller that you and I were texting back and forth about.
That was an amazing game.
They ended up winning that game in overtime,
Yes, huge
thankfully, but they lost the previous night to
Kansas.
Yeah, but they had
Thank
ju-
you,
they
Aubrey.
had
Rock
ju-
chalk.
They had just
Rock chalk.
They had just come off of COVID issues though. I think they hadn't played a game.
They hadn't, and you're right
They hadn't
about
played
that.
a game in like 2 weeks, so they had to get their legs back under them. So I'll let them off the hook there. I think they could easily be an undefeated team.
Their defense and athleticism, I like them a lot.
Yep,
I do.
I think I don't know if you know any of the guys on that team. Davian Mitchell, I think is his name. I think he runs point.
For Baylor.
Yeah, I think
I do know.
they're saying he's a shoe-in for like Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, but
Okay.
he can shoot the three. He's
I
good.
like the big whitey.
Yeah.
Mayor.
Yeah.
He's got like the mullet with the lightning bolt.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
shaved
yeah.
into the side, but he can play, and
Yeah.
he's like really athletic.
Mhm.
He can dunk.
Yeah. Dad, we got any more water back there? I need to fill up.
And he can dunk.
All right,
Thank
so
you.
top 4.
Okay.
Final 4 picks.
My
Fin-
final 4 picks.
Final fours are tough, just because we obviously don't know what the brackets are going to be. But go ahead.
It's tough, but
Yeah.
and I've got mine's like somewhat chalk. I know we just talked about Baylor.
Mhm.
I think they'll make it there.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna end up getting there. A team that is probably like looking at maybe a 2 or 3 seed in the tournament that I am a big fan of is Illinois.
Okay.
I see them getting to the Final Four.
They just beat Michigan, didn't they?
They just beat Michigan's ass.
They beat the brakes off.
Yeah, they beat the brakes off them at
Maybe
Michigan
Michigan needed that.
without their best player. So Illinois' best
Oh.
player is a guard
Damn, they
by the
came-
name of
They came to play because that was on the same night as the Baylor West Virginia.
yeah, Ao Desumu. He's sick.
And those conference tournaments, they just started, right?
They did. They've been started for a while. There's gonna be games today. Taping this on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So there's going to be games today, going to be some finals today. But I like Illinois to get there. I just think they're deep. They've got like 8 players that are legit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to go to schools that are mainly known for football getting in there.
You're going to say Alabama?
I'm going to say Alabama.
I love that. I love it.
I'm going to say Alabama. I mean, they can shoot lights out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that in March, you need good play from your guards, which I think they have, and you need to get streaky shooting the ball from beyond the arc. I
Okay.
think that's Alabama in a nutshell. As much as it pains me to say that because I despise Alabama in everything.
like
Being
Alabama.
being a Tennessee grad, I despise them.
Now they're good at basketball, right? Like, what's next?
Overrated campus, in my opinion, by the way.
I enjoy the campus. I enjoyed it because we drank there. And we
I mean,
watched-
I did too, but overrated.
we went there every
I'm
year.
sorry. Rounders isn't worth waiting 2 hours to get into, but that'll be a conversation for another day.
Isn't Rounders cigs in the bar? You could smoke cigs in the bar.
You might be able to.
No, I'm-
It's been so long since I've been there. I only
personally
went one
not a
time.
fan. I mean, I was okay with it when I would drunk smoke cigarettes. I don't do that anymore.
Mhm.
I love you, Mom. I would never do that to you. But yeah, I mean, that's not my thing anymore. I can't be in a bar with people just ripping cigs.
There's still a couple in college towns that do it.
There's one down the street right here.
Oh, really?
The saloon.
Yeah. I don't. So, what makes them able to do that? I think you have to be.
Private?
So there's like these weird like state laws where if your alcohol sales are more than your food sales, you're technically a tavern. And I think you can't do it in restaurants where the food sales would be more than the alcohol sales.
I got you.
So it has something to do with that. But anyway, I digress. Florida State Knowles, I think, have a chance to. They're like my true sleeper team. I think they have a chance to get in.
So you got a team from every conference.
It
Yeah.
looks like I do. Yeah.
Big 12,
I've got-
Big 10, ACC, and
SEC.
SEC.
I left out the pack.
You know what's super anticlimactic? Because I'm almost identical to you.
Really?
Even though part of me really likes West Virginia only because they actually have an offense this year.
I debated that.
They've always been super good defensively, and they still are.
Mhm.
But they've always struggled with the offense. But they have shooters; they can score. And I mean, I love hugs.
Oh, how can you not like Huggy Bear?
So you know what? I'm gonna do them a solid. I'm gonna go West Virginia. They're probably gonna be what as of right now, like a 3 seed.
Yeah,
Something along those
I'd
lines?
say that it's kind of to be determined because the way these conference tournaments play out could change some things.
Yeah. So here's my thing. I actually do think Gonzaga does get into the Final Four,
Okay.
Same.
but they
I
don't
do
win.
too.
They're not gonna win. I think because they usually get pretty deep. I go Gonzaga. I'm probably gonna go Gonzaga, Michigan,
Okay.
West Virginia, and Alabama. That to me sounds pretty ugly.
Not necessarily.
No, but here's the thing. So obviously the brackets are going to change, and like this is going to change everything.
Right.
But
right.
I mean, if we had to go top 4 teams, I think Baylor is
Mhm.
legit. Michigan's obviously legit. Gonzaga. I think if you look at the top 4, those are the top 4 teams. But obviously that's not how it's going to work out, right? Or
Yeah.
would they get seeded? Because the brackets have nothing to do where you actually are located, right? Because you could be a team in the South, but you end up in the North bracket, right?
First pick usually is where you're located if you make the first pick.
Yeah. They traditionally do it that way,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a little bit different this year because the tournament is in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
So they want obviously to drive revenue,
Yeah.
and they want Duke playing as
Oh,
close
yeah.
to Charlotte as they can get them
Mhm.
for ticket sales
Mm-hmm.
and things like that.
Duke's been kind of turning it around, haven't they? They had a rough start.
They don't deserve it in my
Yeah.
opinion. They're like first 4 out right now, and they'll probably
They'll
try
probably
to get
find a way.
they're going to find a way to get them in there for a money grab,
Yeah.
and it's going to piss some people off.
Right.
We'll see what happens there if they just like completely lay an egg.
You got a sleeper pick?
Well, I guess
love
Florida
Colorado.
State might be my sleeper.
I love Colorado.
They're a good team.
I love the Buffs.
They're a good team.
That's a little bit of like slightly homer pick, but
Yeah,
they're good. They play hard.
they do. Tennessee, actually, that was their first game of the year was Colorado. They came to Knoxville, and we beat them, but it was a hard-fought game.
Yeah.
I think Colorado won 20 games last year.
Yeah.
Love that sound, Aubrey.
They got 19 wins this
Someone's
year.
got to drink.
All right, Aubrey. I know you had a little input here on this one.
I do. All right.
Tell us.
I'm with you. Gonzaga is going to make it. I don't think they'll win. I do like Baylor. Got to rep at least one Big 12 team.
Okay.
I do like Michigan. But my sleeper team is Creighton. I like them.
Can you tell us why?
Well, my sister goes.
There.
I got to
Ding, ding,
represent.
ding, ding, ding.
I
I
tell
mean, they're
you
good.
what,
She's
They're still a
dental
good
school
team.
there. They're great.
they're a traditional basketball school.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
They're going to be like probably a 4 or 5 seed. But I think picking them because your sister goes there,
Hey.
perfectly
we all-
valid. If anyone
Yes.
has been in an office pool, it's the one chick in HR or like that
'Cause
doesn't
you
watch
know
basketball
someone
at
that knows
all.
someone.
The guy that, like
And then they end up winning.
Maybe that does IT.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I just picked my favorite colors and they have like the best bracket in the office. They end up like walking away with $1,000.
So
And you get so bitter. So there's no way you can tell.
We'll
Because
do a-
there's going to be big upsets like there are every year, and your bracket's going to be some people's brackets are going to be toast
Yeah.
by the end of the first game.
It happens. It happens to me every year. I
Like
think.
Virginia.
yeah.
Virginia's a good.
I mean, okay, well, that's another thing we talk
Yeah.
about. Is there a reason now, as looking from a betting perspective, is there like part of you that I kind of want to sprinkle like every money line on the 16 seats? Because now that it has happened,
It's happened once though. I think it would be
but
dumb
there's
to do that.
there's the belief. Yeah, but like minimum bet, I throw like $10-20 on it, and it's
Yeah.
probably like plus 1,000.
It'll be a hell of a payout, no doubt. But it's happened one time.
All right, is there a 15-2 this year?
I think the 12-5s you're almost guaranteed like a 12 is going to beat a 5, an 11 is probably going to beat a 6. Like those are the trendy ones.
The 3-4.
314 is
Yeah.
another one that
Florida Gulf Coast was the
is possible.
Florida, they were. Was it Florida Gulf Coast? Yeah, FGC.
They took
FGCU.
they
They were a
uh,
14 seed.
beat Georgetown.
That's when they were throwing out alley-oops all over the place.
Dunk City.
That shit was so
I
sick.
just can't wait till Creighton's in the Final Four.
Well,
and
we'll do
we
a
can
bracket.
reminisce on
We'll
this.
do brackets.
Yeah,
and
we'll definitely do brackets.
We'll do brackets, and you can do that. You can do that, and we'll see how that works.
It's like girls doing fantasy football. They always like draft the cutest players.
Oh,
'cause they
tell
don't know.
them about your idea. I think this is a great idea
Oh,
for fantasy football
Fantasy
league.
football. So you have like
It's genius.
couples, could be friends, dating, doesn't matter.
Okay.
You draft in this like same house,
Opposite
different rooms. So it's a snake draft, but like the guy will go first, all the guys go 1st, then the girls in a different room. So then you can kind of hear like, why'd you pick Jimmy Garoppolo? Because he's hot, like
Yeah.
in like second round pick or something, you
Yeah.
know? So you can't like converse about who to choose, anything. So it's all up to.
I think that's phenomenal.
I think that would be a hilarious
Such a good
idea
Right?
to do. That would be so fun.
You can like game plan before and stuff, but
like you can highlight like people to pick, but
like
like
some
what if they pick a
some girls
defense
definitely gonna pick a
fifth
kicker in
round?
like the 6th round.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but she'll be like, he's cute. I wanted to pick him.
Justin
Some
Tucker.
of
That's
them
how
know their
couples get in
stuff.
fights.
Yeah, they do. I'm not.
but-
Hey, I'm not. Yeah, I just
But
think that'd be great.
It would have to be
It's
contingent on the guy not coaching them. It would have to cut off communication.
Well, yeah,
no
they-
pressure.
well,
you,
yeah,
you have to like there.
You can't.
can, like,
yeah, you
game
can't
plan
just
before,
send
but,
them in
like,
with a cheat sheet. Be like,
Yeah.
okay, here you go.
Yeah. No,
Oh.
you got a game plan beforehand, but I just think that'd be so funny.
Got to take running backs first.
Yeah. Running backs first, and then I've tried to go running back, just because that's where you're gonna make. But last year the receivers went pretty crazy. I got Devontae Adams in one of my leagues, and he missed like 4 or 5 games, but he's so good.
It's becoming a passing league. It really is. It's crazy.
Yeah. All right. Well, I know we have some March Madness stories. I know I have a good one.
Let's hear it.
Should I lead us off?
You probably have mine aren't so happy.
And I've told this story. I don't even know how many times, but it's a good one. I tell it all the time. It's a really good one. So, obviously, I went to the University. Not obviously, I went to the University of South Carolina Gamecocks, and I think it was my senior. Yep, it was my senior year. So it was 2013, and we were almost worried about not making the tournament. We had a really strong start to the season. We played really good out of conference, and then towards the end of the year, we were just not playing well. And I remember actually being at some of those games. There was a game, it's just me being a stubborn ass. I was at the game. We were playing with like Mississippi State or somebody. It might have been Alabama. And the game was so bad. I was in the stands. I was like, this is the worst game ever. I was getting so sick of it. I was like, the only reason we're in this game is because Frank Martin has a defense. And I left the game. I literally left at the end of the game. I'm like, this is terrible. And it went to quadruple overtime. We lost. So I'm almost glad I left. Long story short, they get into the tournament as a 7th seed. They have Marquette first round. And I actually, on my thing, I had us losing. I had no confidence at all. Because we were playing bad. Like, we just barely snuck in. And I'm like, okay, this is going to end badly. We're going to lose. They beat Marquette. I'm like, okay, got a little something here. Like, that's a win. Like, we can celebrate, clap it up, right? But now we have to go play Duke, the number 2 seed. We got to play Duke. I think it was Grayson Allen, Jabari Parker.
That might have been
Or was
Jason Tatum. Here?
Jason Tatum, maybe Jason Tatum. Yep, that might be Jason Tatum. You're right. Good call. And we're sitting in a room, and I think we were trailing like 5 or 6, like most of the game. And our defense would just wear people down. So like in the last 5 minutes is where we would come in and we would attack, and we'd start Sindarius Thornwell, the GOAT.
Stud.
Oh my
Chris
gosh,
Silva,
dude.
stud.
And then oh my god, I'm blanking who our 3-point shooter was. Chris something. Sorry. And PJ Dozier.
Oh yeah.
He was running point.
Yeah.
We had a really good team, and we were playing Duke, and I was like, "There's no fucking way, right?" And we're trailing the whole game. 5 minutes comes along, we tie it up, and I'm very superstitious. I was sitting in the same seat for the whole game. I had to pee. I was gonna piss my pants. I'm like, I'm not moving. Me and my Jeremy was there. Tenny were there. We're all watching the game, and we win. We win, and I'm like, elate. I'm so hype. I'm the first one out. So we live in this massive apartment complex called Olympia. I run out. I run down the hall. I'm screaming because I know everybody in there is watching that game. There's no way they're not. I'm like, let's go, Sweet 16. Here, and as soon as you know it, everybody's out in the hallways going crazy, throwing beer, like high-fiving, like people I've never met before in my life. And that's when I knew it was like kind of special. And then we go, and I think we played Oregon next. I think we played Oregon or Baylor is one of those green teams.
Someone green. Yeah.
Someone green. Then we played them in the Elite Eight. And we rented out this bar because this is when we knew it was for real with Elite Eight. So we rented out this bar called Group Therapy. I'm just plugging Columbia right now. Group Therapy is the shit. Shout out Group. And we rented out. We win the Elite Eight game. I can't remember that game as well. And all I remember is we won again. And just like in the apartment complex, but in 5 points, everybody sprints out of their bars because every fraternity had a bar they were renting for this game. Everybody sprints out of the bars and they're rioting in the streets, fucking motorcycles doing donuts and people jumping in the fountain, and it was insane. And then I think it was the Final Four game. My dad was in town. It was Father's Weekend. We were playing, and we played Florida. Florida was next, so this was to go to the Final Four. So I might be messed up on my games. Watched at the same bar. I wore the same shirt. It smelled terrible. It smelled like BO, and beer was just poured all over me. And everybody's huddled up, like standing, watching this game, and everybody smells like shit. No one gives a fuck. It's awesome. Everybody's like going crazy, and we beat Florida. And we're like, no way this is happening. Like, there's no way. Like, I didn't think we belonged to the tournament. We're a football, kind of. Not really. We were almost not deemed a football school anymore just because after Spurrier we got so bad. And same thing happened on another, but to another level. Everybody goes out, donuts. There's more people. It's cops. One random kid got arrested. It's so funny. Out of the 2,000 people that were in the streets. And I just remember that was the best. I think that was the best time I've ever had at school. And and there were kids actually that were in another fraternity that went they did like the road trip with a bus, and they went around to all these games, and I was super jealous. But to be down at school during that time, best time I've ever had at school. So rewarding. And my dad was there, and I never thought in my wildest dreams that South Carolina, where I went for partially because of football, would be in the Final Four. And I'll never forget it.
I'm jealous, man.
One of the best times
I'm
ever.
jealous. I've had plenty of heartbreaks because the same year that South Carolina made the Final Four, Loyola Chicago was in the Final Four.
That's right.
And that was by way of breaking my heart. St. Patrick's Day in Indianapolis. I'm watching the round of 32 with my best friend, Anthony DeNegri. We're both wearing orange shirts sticking out like a sore thumb. Everyone wearing green. We're in bright orange. I got us like these like shamrock necklaces. And we watch it all come crashing down by losing to Loyola Chicago.
Did you guys get your ass kicked in that game? Or
no,
was it?
It was a last-second buzzer beater.
That's
this
right.
kid,
They were hitting,
Clayton Custer, I'll never freaking forget it. He hit like the bottom of the rim, and this ball somehow like got pushed up and in to end us. They kept showing like the 98-year-old nun, Sister Jean. Fuck Sister Jean.
Oh.
I cannot stand looking at her to this day. It just brings up the worst.
I could see
worst
you fucking
memories.
drop kicking Sister Jean. You fucking bitch.
Well, then everyone in the bar is like getting so rowdy for the upset.
Oh,
and
I
then
bet.
Here's me and Anthony just
You get
like
in a fight?
I don't think he was able to refrain. This kid that was probably like a foot shorter than him, talking to him, talking shit to him.
God.
So we took it seriously, man. I mean, we were crazy when we were living in that city, and unfortunately, in Indianapolis the following year, best basketball team, one of the best Tennessee will ever have. Admiral Schofield,
Beast.
Grant Williams, two-time SEC Player of the
You guys were
Year,
legit.
Jordan Bone. They had 4 NBA players on that team.
Mm-hmm.
So in Indianapolis, you're either an IU grad
I picked you
in
guys to be in that
Bloomington.
Final Four that year.
or you're a Purdue grad. And who the hell did we lose to in the Sweet 16 off of a bullshit foul call than Purdue? And I have to go into my office the next day and face all these Purdue fans. The little white kid who averaged like 4 points per game the whole year, Ryan Klein, dead-eye three-pointers like in our face the entire game.
That's
he went
right.
bananas.
Yeah.
Like 8 threes in the game. And it's funny because one of my boys in Indy, Ryan, grew up with the kid.
Mm-hmm.
And
Small world.
we had a party I think 2 summers ago.
Oh, and he's there.
He rolls in. Me and Anthony challenged him to a beer pong game, and we beat him.
Oh,
But we were just like playfully talking shit. Like we were like had like maybe too much to drink, and like no, but really fuck you. Like he
oh my
your
god,
heart.
he broke my heart.
That
He
is
just
so
stomped
funny.
on it.
That was your
Stomped on it.
your revenge, was beating him in beer pong. Hey, that's better than what most people can say. The
It
fact
is.
that you got that opportunity to at least jab at
I
him.
did get the opportunity, but honestly, seeing him walk in there, like, just a pit in my stomach immediately. And then it turned into like, man, fuck this guy.
Is Tennessee a tournament team this year?
We're gonna make it.
Yeah.
I'm a little upset with how they've done.
South Carolina's so bad.
this year.
I don't even want to talk about them.
K-State too.
Yeah.
But they did upset
Yeah.
OU.
Frank Martin, you.
Frank Martin, Bob
Mm-hmm.
Huggins before Frank Martin.
Yep.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Good.
But no, Tennessee will make it. I'm not expecting anything big. They're overrated in my opinion.
Yeah. Do you got any K-State stories?
I have a KU story.
Oh, she's a
oh,
yes.
I
She
went to KU first.
traitor.
I'm a K-State lover at heart, but
Mhm.
it's hard
Traitor.
to not support KU basketball. If you've ever been to Allen Fieldhouse, it's
Traitor.
wild.
I have not. It's probably
It's
it'll be on my
so-
on my sports bucket list.
Yes.
Tennessee's played them a couple times, and I wish I could have gotten there because I've heard it's like really like a sight to behold.
I do want to go.
It's you just have to experience it. It's different, and it's you literally have to camp out for like a week ahead of big games. So we'd have to sleep like in the hallway. Like it's so fun though. It's worth it. But I actually wasn't going to school there during this story. I'd already transferred to K-State, but all my friends were at KU, and they were in the Final Four against Ohio State. So this is like 2012. So I am aging myself a little bit right now.
Oh, was
but
that like Miles Turner? Or
that's
who am I
like Ben McElmore. All of them were
Thomas
on KU's.
Robinson.
Mario Chalmers?
That was
That was
2008.
08.
That's when
That was
he
when they won.
made, yeah.
He made the
that's when
shot.
they won the national
Yeah.
championship. But I had a broken leg, and we watched the Final Four, and we were at this bar called The Wheel, and we won. It was like we won by 2 points. It was like
9.
64, 62. It
Nice.
was an intense game. And I had a broken leg. I'm in a boot. And everyone rushed down to Mass Street, kind of how you guys like stormed.
Right.
Same thing. I'm like running, hobbling, chugging a beer to Mass Street so I could party with like I was just
I
like
can just
everyone's
picture this.
passing me
I
because
can
I'm
picture
trying
this.
to run, but I have a broken leg.
Well, you're a trooper.
If I
That's
were, I would have,
dedication.
I would have,
Nothing
I
was
would have fucking,
stopping
I
me.
would have picked you up and brought you. I mean, like
Only
this,
I had
this,
you back
this
then.
girl's trying so hard to be a part. Like she is the party. That's the party. That's the party.
Who wouldn't want to party with that? Yeah.
I have a
But-
golf alert.
Golf alert.
Jordan Spieth birdies the first hole and makes a hole-in-one on the second.
No way.
No way.
He's now 8 under.
Holy shit.
Holy
Second
cow.
place.
Damn.
What a day.
They just showed
What
it.
a way to
I
start
couldn't stop the
a round
I
of
know.
golf.
It
Birdie,
did it happen
hole-in-one.
right to our left.
We're gonna, we're gonna do a little golf talk later. But yeah, I mean that's dope. I'm happy for Jordan. I'd love to see him win.
Me too. I like
This golf
him.
course
Yeah.
sets up well for him because he tends to.
Where are they
draw the
playing?
ball.
Bay Hill.
Not familiar, but
I think it's in Orlando,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Oh.
in Orlando.
This is the
It's-
Arnold Palmer Invitational.
This was Arnold Palmer's. home
where'd you play
track.
in Florida again?
Sawgrass.
Sawgrass.
But
okay.
it wasn't the stadium course, unfortunately. They were closed or something, or they just were booked months and months in
Here you go.
advance.
Here's the hole-in-one.
Oh wow.
Wow.
So
Have you ever had a hole in one?
Probably
I've
Silver Leaf.
never had anything close to hole in one. I'm a hack at golf, Aubrey. I try to keep it under 100 when I get out there. Believe me.
You and I can play together.
Yeah, we should. We
I've
should.
played with Tanner a couple times. I mean, he's had good moments. Though.
Yeah?
He's had some solid moments.
I have
enough to keep you keep you
almost
going back.
almost the mechanics of a swing down at this point, but actually getting it to go straight. I'm a serial pick my head
Shaker?
upper. No, I'm a serial
Oh.
pick my head up
Top the
and
ball.
I've got hand-me-downs from a cousin who's probably like 5'10", I'm 6'2".
Yeah.
That doesn't help me much.
So you're just bending.
Not making an excuse,
Yeah.
but no, I'm
It's a good excuse.
I'm bad. I'm bad.
We'll
But
get,
there
we'll
was
get
a
you fitted
guy.
in on the golf course soon.
There was a guy, and he was looking for a ruling. He was playing with his friends, par 3 somewhere, wherever the hell it was. And they get onto the green, and the grounds crew the last night had forgot to fill the pin position from whenever the previous day.
So there's 2 holes.
So he gets a hole in one. He's
the wrong
in
hole.
there, but the flag is in the other one. They changed the pin location. He's like, I'm looking for a ruling on this. All his friends are like, I mean, that's not a hole in one. It's not the hole. So, I mean, can you imagine? Like, you're never going to get that close. You're never going to get that close, and it ends up going in that hole.
I think the closest I've ever came was maybe like a foot. Like a couple of times. But it's been a long time. And it's funny because the better I've gotten at golf, the further away I've gotten from a hole in one, I feel like.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not putting it close by any means, but it's funny because some of the most random golfers will have
My
hole-in-ones.
dad and my brother, they both have a hole in one.
They do? Your
Yeah.
brother has one?
Yeah, he was like 14.
My dad's got 2.
Two?
Yeah, he's got 2.
Tag.
I
On the
wonder
s-
if
on the
Wes
same
has
hole.
two. He might.
Same hole?
One
Yeah.
was in like St. Thomas or something.
Oh, man.
Just playing a random course like on vacation.
It's gonna come. I'm confident it's gonna come one day. I just
Uh-huh.
I can't force it.
Yeah.
I am your
but
lucky charm on that.
I'm not gonna lie. I'll be pretty damn upset if I don't get one though. But I'll play until I'm 100 if I have to get a hole in one. I don't even care if it's from the red tees. It's gonna count. But what? I gotta play with my pants down maybe. But yeah, so let's talk briefly just on the NBA just because there's some stuff going on with these referees, man. I've kind of had enough of it, and I don't know what your take is on this. And I've had a problem with the NBA referees for a long time, for a long, long time. Not only just with this technical bullshit, but with the fouls being called, right? So they're always looking for the and one, like the big call.
They need to realize that they're a ref and they're players.
Dude, some of these whistles are so late.
They want their 15 minutes, and they think it's going to be fun to make a big call. Like, they just need to, like, you're there to officiate. Like, they need to let it happen more naturally, I feel like.
Yeah, because what I think the J.J. Redick technical foul is the funniest one. I think that was hilarious.
Can you pull that one up?
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
Because you told me about this, and, like, I had heard about it, but I hadn't, like, actually seen the clip.
It is
and
so ridiculous.
Basically, when Cole's, getting it up, they call a foul on him that he's upset about, and he basically just kind of, like, aggressively, I guess, throws the ball at the ref.
I'd say passive aggressive.
And that was enough for them to tee him up, and I think he ended up getting tossed out of the game.
Oh.
They might have, like, double teed him.
Yeah.
Shoot.
And then
Absolutely
thrown him out.
It's so ridiculous, Tanner, because granted, he's not like a massive player, but he's a solid player. Like, he's going to give you points, and they need him.
He's been around forever.
But they're inserting themselves into the game in the most incorrect way. You're there to make calls. You're there to not tee guys up because he didn't like the way he threw the ball to you. Did he
Right.
peg it at you at your head intentionally and say "fuck you, ref"? No, he didn't. He just went like this and like with a little sarcasm on it. And we'll play it and let's see if it gets there. I think it's down. Yep, it's down here.
That's probably about
So
it.
I think what happened is on the other end he got called for a foul.
Mm-hmm.
And then here we'll see. Right?
So they call that push off.
No, they didn't. He wanted them to call that. So he's already kind of getting into it a little bit. Boom.
Yeah.
He gets teed up there. That's his first tee, right?
Uh-huh.
So maybe that one was a little deserving. He might have been jabbing at the ref. But the second tee is just amazing. Let's see if it gets there. Yep, it's this one. Ready? So he comes through. So they called a foul, right? He's like, oh, thank God you called that one. Boom. Tee. Like,
I mean, the ref wasn't really even looking. So that's probably, like, the only reason that should happen.
yeah, so, but, I mean, okay, but are you giving a guy another technical for that?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Come on.
And, yeah, and they did the same thing to Devin Booker for, like, doing the exact thing, for throwing the ball to him. Like he just said, for throwing the ball to you, that's not intentional. Exactly what he's saying right
So
there.
fucking
like, he just kind of
ridiculous.
whipped it at him. Like, yeah, he's kind of upset that he just got hacked. But
I hate that, dude. It's just so irritating to me. It rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah.
It's like you're taking away the game. You're kicking him out of the game for that. There are so many other things you could kick somebody out of a game for that warrant it. A hard foul, like if you punch somebody in the face or You get into a fight, but this guy should get a suspension for 5 games.
They've just got too big of egos.
Like, what is this?
They got too big of egos. I don't know what to.
It honestly, like, I think it goes to my point where I think the NBA is slightly rigged too, 100%. I think there's a little bit of and they would play the most the biggest part in that.
They certainly would.
They can control the flow of the game easy.
You got to listen to the Whistleblower podcast if you haven't yet. That is riveting.
Really,
all about.
I'm not on that.
All about Tim Donaghy and the NBA betting scandal with the refs being involved in the games. It is really, really good.
Okay.
It's like gripping. Like, maybe
give me a little sneak peek. What are they talking about there?
So, like, basically in the early to mid 2000s, it said that, Tim Donaghy and some other, NBA referees that were unnamed in the podcast for, legal reasons, were influencing the way that games were going to make sure that the teams that were more popular were ascending to,
make the
playoffs, higher ratings, good for everything. It's rumored that the late David Stern was actually in on it as well. Donaghy will go to his grave saying that these instructions were coming down from the top for, them to influence these games certain ways. He was a degenerate gambler. As they're saying that a lot of these refs were too.
Well, yeah, didn't they gamble on the games they were?
They were gambling on the games they were reffing or tipping off, their
wild.
buddies back home in Philly of which game. You might want to,
trading.
You might want to take Philly -4 here tonight. Because this ref is reffing that, and that's kind of that in a nutshell. I think I did an okay job. Summarizing it, but definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. If you're a basketball fan and a gambler, it will make you think about betting on basketball games for sure.
Well, guess what? So I love fading the public.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's such a solid strategy. In the NBA, then this was before 2 weeks ago they came out. 2 weeks ago came out the stat. It's like if you bet $100 on every underdog this season, you'd be up like $4.6 thousand, just money lines. And over the last I wish. I mean, shit, I wish. And over the last couple of weeks, I've been seeing underdogs winning again, like with the highest public concentrations on that favorite that night.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of followed suit, and I just like the Bulls the other day were 6-point underdogs to the Pelicans, I think. And the Pelicans, I think they had 70% of the money, 70% of bets. I'm like, all right, I'll take the Bulls +6. Not only did they cover the spread, they won the game.
Yeah.
And the public has been getting absolutely hammered in the NBA. And guess what happens when the public loses? Vegas wins.
Yep.
They make money. Yep. So, is there something there? Or
there is definitely something there.
There's no way there's not.
There isn't. And, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Because the best bettors, out there are
aware of that.
54%. If you're winning 54% you're winning 54% of your bets, you're killing it.
Yeah,
you're a pro.
Because those are probably
you're a pro.
$1,000 units, $5,000 units.
Right.
Right.
10%.
Yeah.
10.
I'm bad.
Yeah.
Hang them up.
No, but I mean, it's just
bad.
you don't know what's gonna. It all evens itself out at the end of the day. But I think I am more similar to you. I look for those angles,
right?
Trying to find an underdog.
It's great, and I've been rolling with it lately.
Yeah.
And it's funny, the flip side of that, because I follow the NHL pretty heavily too. The public's 8-0 on the last over the last week for the NHL, so it's complete opposite. So maybe just because the NHL isn't as influenced, it's not as influential also as these other sports, so maybe they just don't give a shit. You know what I mean? And it's real, and you can't rig a hockey.
Impossible.
Game. You can't rig a hockey.
Impossible.
Game. So
yeah.
I see my dad over here going crazy at some of the golf on screen. I wonder what's going on.
Speaking of golf.
Yeah,
Yeah.
1 second though is Jordan just snapped hooked his
into the water,
and then on the same hole you got Justin Rose has looks like probably a 6-iron into the green over the water. He's now thrown it in the water twice.
Oh
so
my goodness!
He's playing tin cup.
Falling apart.
That's why I love this golf course. I think this
falling apart.
Oh,
well, that segues well.
Yeah.
Aubrey?
Yeah. So Tiger, what's going on? Do we have updates?
Breaks your heart.
Right?
Yeah, it breaks your heart.
Yeah, it's tough, and I know it happened over a week ago now. It's tough, man. I mean, we grew up watching Tiger. I grew up watching Tiger, and everybody wanted to be like fucking Tiger. I know that's cliche, but everybody like,
how could you not?
Everybody wanted to play golf because of Tiger, and
Absolutely.
He made it this. He made the golf like this sport where it's like you're super reserved and you're classy and you don't curse and you're very just calm.
Right.
And he came in and it was like the game just took a whole rebrand essentially. And he's fist pumping, he's super intense, and people love that shit. And not only was he doing that, but he was winning all of the time.
Yeah.
Literally all the time. Greatest talent to probably ever touch a golf club ever. And I know Jack's got a few more, and he's probably going to be able to hold that now with this injury. I think Tiger was going to fall short regardless because of everything that happened, kind of set him off path.
Right.
But yeah, obviously he got into a pretty bad accident. And I saw something today where an affidavit came up and said that he was unconscious in the car, and I think that would make sense with the car flipping and stuff like that. But yeah, it's tough. He shattered his leg. He had emergency surgery. He was already intending to have a back surgery, or he had already had the surgery. So he was already going to go through a recovery process, and he was shooting to come back and play for the Masters. And now that's completely out of the question. And will he ever play golf again competitively?
Just knowing the kind of competitor that he is,
He will.
I don't think there's any doubt he's going to be playing in another
See,
tour
I
event
agree with you.
at some time.
I'm optimistic that way as well. Everybody's so negative about it. Like, oh, his career's over, and I get why.
Whether is he going to win another major? I mean, obviously, it's easy to say no. Can't count him out. I think he's definitely going to be playing in another tour event in the next year and a half to two. He'll come back and try to hang around.
Yeah, because I mean, he smashed his. He probably broke his femur. He probably messed up his whole leg.
Yeah.
Leg
Whole leg
injuries.
smashed. So he's probably gonna have to learn how to walk again.
It's gonna be a tough road back for him.
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we've seen enough of Tiger. Not that I don't want to see more. I think what everybody cares about is that
He's healthy.
he's healthy. He's with his family. Obviously, he had an unconventional upbringing himself with his father, and the way he was taught how to do things. And he needs to be there for his son. You know what I mean? And his son's already got the spotlight on him. And I think Tiger will be able to learn from his mistakes and be able to direct his kid Charlie in the right way. Because I mean, not only is his kid good at golf, he's 100% going to be on TV one day, carrying on the legacy. So if we don't see him again in the game, I'm going to be bummed out, but I'm just going to be happy if he's happy, if he's not drinking and getting addicted to pain pills again.
No one can take 2019 at Augusta away from him.
No,
like
You want to
that.
talk about
I
seeing
cried
Cole
like a
cry?
I cried like
He
a
cried.
baby.
Yeah, like that.
I've
That
never
is
seen
it.
Cole cry.
And like I know
Ever.
he probably deep down really cares about catching Jack, but
Oh, absolutely.
you can't take that away from him. Like
Yeah.
it's a hell of a way to go out. It's upsetting that this happened, and now he's gonna have to go through a whole another comeback. But
Did you see the documentary?
I think he will.
I actually have not seen it yet.
You haven't seen the
I have
documentary?
not seen it yet.
So I saw the documentary, and obviously Tiger he fucked up. He had a massive fuck up, and he knows that. He admitted it. I mean, the apology. I remember when he first came out with his apology, it was super weird that he was apologizing. It's like someone told him to apologize. But that's neither here nor there. The documentary, it was dark. There's dark moments, and he definitely watched it. There's no way he didn't watch it.
Yeah.
They probably needed his approval because I think he was in the end of the documentary. I think he had a little portion where he's in front of the camera.
Okay.
But part of me thinks, and my dad and I were talking about this, is he had to relive that shit all over again.
Yeah, it's definitely not fun.
And granted, the cops said that there wasn't any alcohol in his system. Did they say anything about painkillers or pills?
Well, he's off of surgery too, so do we think
So
he
that's
maybe had
gonna
him?
probably.
And it
be
was
in
a
his system.
single. This is so weird because maybe I haven't been keeping up with it because it was a single car accident. They said he was speeding a little bit. There were no skid marks on the road. He had to have fallen asleep. It was at like 7
That's
a.m.
what
in the
I'm
morning.
thinking.
So what, did he fall asleep because he was playing golf with Dwayne Wade and David Spade the day before? Probably drinking. You know,
That sounds
probably
like fun.
they might have been out late. And he gets up at 6:30 in the morning, hops in the car at 7 o'clock. Maybe he wasn't drunk, so he wasn't drinking.
Right.
So is he just tired at 6 in the morning, or was he off of some medicine that made him drowsy and he swerves off the car? Because if something came across the road and there was like a deer, there'd be skid marks of him stopping and swerving.
Yeah.
But there's nothing. So he's just
It was fatigue for sure.
Right?
He definitely dozed off. And like maybe if he had, a couple PKs, mix that with, a hard partying night the night before. I think everyone knows
Bad
sometimes
combo.
you wake up in the morning and like you're maybe going to 7-Eleven like just to get a Gatorade. Like, man, I probably shouldn't even be driving right now.
Yeah.
You still feel out of it. So, I mean, it's upsetting, but I think that like everyone wearing like red was it the Genesis?
yeah.
Was it that weekend?
No, because
Is that when?
it was the next tournament after that.
It was.
Is that
Which is
the-
ironically the car he crashed.
Well, because the Genesis was at the Riviera, and then they played the next tournament, and
WGC.
World Golf
oh, WGC, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
The
That's
one that
that's the next
Homo
tournament.
won.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that when?
No.
Hollow-
Homo won the Genesis.
Morikawa?
That's right. Okay.
Morikawa won the W.
Yeah.
Won the
Colin?
WGC.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, we'll talk about that. But everybody was wearing red, and my first thought.
I liked it.
This is my first thought, and this could rub people wrong. I was like, he's not dead. He didn't die.
Yeah.
And I know that could maybe sound bad, but what was validating for me was when Tiger basically came out and said, "I love that."
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure how Tiger was going to react to that. I almost feel like, because Tiger, I feel like Tiger would be like, I'm not
how
dead.
lame? Like that's fucking lame.
I'm not fucking.
Like,
I
he
didn't
could've
die.
said that, yeah.
You know what I mean? And there were a couple guys that didn't wear red.
Everyone was
Koepka
kind
and
of trying.
Homa.
Yeah. Well, Homa, I guess he couldn't pull it off with his sponsors, but I just thought it was funny. Just stupid fucking people on the internet. All the Twitter mob was after Homa because he wasn't able to wear red. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, you're not gonna wear red. He's like, I mean, come on, man.
And Homa's pretty good on Twitter too.
Yeah, he's like, MGM can't just overnight me a red polo with every sponsor that I have on it.
Yeah.
And like a week earlier, he talked about, how much of a fan he was and how, Tiger is the one that got him into golf.
Yeah,
When
I
he
remember
won.
that.
Yeah,
the Genesis.
Yeah, he has a great story about.
So he
that.
doesn't have to explain himself to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
The Brooks Koepka thing is kind of funny though because I think he was like one of the only Nike guys that wasn't wearing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what he doesn't strike me as a guy like Brooks Koepka was probably like, that's fucking corny. I'm not going to do it. Like he probably texted Tiger. He's like, that's good enough for me. I don't have to wear red on Sunday.
And Tiger was probably cool with it. Tiger probably didn't care.
No,
You know what I
he
mean?
doesn't
Like,
care. He doesn't care.
He probably wouldn't have cared. He probably wouldn't have cared if no one wore red either. It probably wouldn't have been a thing because everybody was reaching out,
Yeah.
making sure he's okay. He has really good relationships with these guys on tour just because he paved the way. And a lot of these guys that feel comfortable, they go to him for advice and they go to him for how you deal with these things.
Right.
Being a father and winning all the time, like what is that like? And because Koepka had 2 years where he was just winning like crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he got in touch with Tiger. But Koepka definitely has that little air about him, because I mean he was on top of the golf world for 2 years.
Yeah.
And people started asking him questions, and I think that's just who he is as a person, is the way he answers these questions. I don't think he's intentionally trying to degrade other players, except for if it's Bryson DeChambeau and making fun of his protein,
Which I think is
routine.
hilarious.
I think that shit is funny because I think DeChambeau's a geek. Granted, he's changing the game, but that's a conversation for another time.
Yeah.
I think Koepka, just my little 2 cents, he actually likes the spotlight on him, and by not wearing it, he actually essentially put the spotlight on him.
Yeah,
That's a good theory.
That's a good point. That is a really good point.
I like them both.
Yeah.
I like DeChambeau.
I'm playing golf with Mitch and Connor tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not too cold. I think it's gonna be like 45, so we'll live. And obviously it's on Sunday, and we were like, should we wear red? And of course, I was the guy that originally said he's not dead. You know what I mean? And now I'm like, oh, let's wear red. Like that'd be sweet.
I think it's cool. It's
I'm gonna
like
go
a
out
cool
there.
Tribute.
Yeah, go out there,
I think
wear
it's
red, and
fun.
probably shoot like 82.
I think a lot of people did that. the Sunday after the accident.
I think it was a big thing.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Like in the public golf world?
Like in the public golf world, yeah. People were going out. People were, maybe watching it in, red shirt, black shorts on their couch. But then that definitely was something that caught on. It was
movement.
the week after it
Are
happened.
you talking about the foreplay pod?
Well, they're one of them.
Dude.
The guy Trent cracks me up.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
he's
lie,
funny.
and I hate dogging other people, and obviously because we're starting a podcast and Barstool's an empire, and we're just a fucking whatever.
Right.
But
We're cute,
dude. Those guys kind of irk me a little bit. They say they're these handicaps, and they're not, and they're just total dweebs. And I think I could run them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're coming up around like an hour and 20. So let's go to the end here and let's do this this debate. So I came up with this one, and I think it's a really good topic. Most accomplished, and what I mean by that is the player that has the most rings in their sport versus the most talented. Granted, some of those can go hand in hand,
Right.
but I guess let's go down the list, right? So you have Bill Russell in the NBA, who has the most rings.
11 rings.
Then you have Yogi Berra, who has 10 rings for the Yankees. And then you have Henry Richard, won 11 Stanley Cups.
It's wild.
And then I think Federer. Does Federer have the most major championships?
He does. And I think it's him, Nadal, and Djokovic is on their heels.
I believe. And then football is obviously Tom Brady at 7. So let's talk. I guess we'll talk about. We don't have to talk about tennis. We don't have to talk about it. I just figured it because. So most accomplished is Tom Brady. He's also labeled as the GOAT. But is he the most talented quarterback of all time?
I think the most talented quarterback of all time is Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah.
I would say before Patrick Mahomes, it was Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mahomes came along. I mean, I still think Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest talents to ever. I mean,
He is. And I gotta give my Tennessee guy a shout out too, because Peyton Manning is up there for me.
Thank
Obviously,
you.
he got those Super Bowls. I mean, he's got one with Denver, one with the Colts.
But he easily could have 3 or 4.
He easily could,
Yeah.
but I think just like from a pure talent standpoint, like in his heyday in Indianapolis, there was no one that could throw a deep ball better than him. He would just drop that thing right in Reggie Wayne's, breadbasket, right in Marvin Harris, and hit him in stride perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Like watching him throw like a deep ball was crazy. I think he's a great arm talent. He was like, if you were building a quarterback in a lab, it would be Peyton Manning. But I am team Brady is the GOAT. Like I think the accomplishments and the body of work that is more. That means more to me. That means more to me. The longevity has something to do with it too. But I think you look at body of work, and he's up there in statistical categories because he's played for close to 20 years. Mm-hmm. But
I mean, look what he just did.
Right,
Yeah.
and I think that it only strengthens your resume, basically. So I think you got to find the balance, right? Mm-hmm. So the people with the championships, that's going to put them a little bit higher. But, obviously Eli has 2. He's probably not going to make most people's top 10. So it's like
He's going to be a borderline Hall of Fame.
He's a no-doubter in my opinion. I think he'll get in.
In my opinion, yes. I think he is a no-doubter. But for people, I mean, it wasn't anything. You didn't jump off the page, like you're probably watching, you're probably in the quarterback, or you're probably in the room watching film on the defense, and you're watching Eli Manning, and you're like, this is the guy.
Someone that kind of
talking
played in his era, but never won a ring. And it's probably a bad comparison because I think Eli is more accomplished than this person.
Philip Rivers?
Like a Donovan McNabb.
Okay.
Who was incredible talent, like definitely top 5 quarterback, like in his prime, but went to 1 Super Bowl as 0-1. Mm-hmm. He won't even
against the Patriots.
He won't even sniff the Hall of Fame. He won't even sniff it.
Right. See, Dan Marino had a pretty damn good career to be able to solidify the Hall of Fame.
Hell yeah, he retired.
Yeah, that's the best, probably the best to never win a championship.
Yeah, he retired. I mean, number 1 in every statistical category.
Not bad.
Yeah,
that's pretty
until
good.
Drew Brees came and broke him.
Yeah. Drew Brees. I don't think Drew Brees gets enough love, but
What's your thoughts on Josh Allen? Just curious.
I mean, he's damn good. He's really good. And he went from being one of his first 2 years were rough. They were not good. He was under 60% completion percentage, which is not good. But now he's got a serious threat with Stephon Diggs over there at wide receiver. I think they have one of the more underrated receiving corps actually in the NFL. Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, Gabriel Davis, Isaiah McKenzie. Like they can play, and I think they'll be good for a while. They need to work on the defense a little bit, but that team is good. Josh Allen's really good.
Yeah.
So let's move on. Let's go to basketball. I think this could be a hot topic.
Okay.
Because obviously Bill
Hot
Russell
take.
has 11. Everybody knows he's not the greatest.
Right.
Then
Well,
you
he
have-
has 11, but
Yeah, but nobody talks about it,
Sam
right?
Jones has probably 9 or 10.
But but everybody talks about MJ and how MJ has 6. But what about Bill Russell's 11? And I'm a LeBron guy, and I think you're probably more. Are you more of a Jordan guy?
I'm more of a Jordan guy.
You're more of a Jordan guy.
LeBron just gets under my skin.
He gets under my skin a little bit.
He gets under my skin. I think he's. I mean, you can't not say he's incredible. He's absolutely incredible talent, but I lean more to Jordan.
You're a boomer though. I mean, you're acting like a boom. You never fucking watched him play.
I didn't. I actually did watch him play.
Are you going back and watching YouTube videos?
I was 6 years old. I think my dad won some box seats at an auction.
Wizards?
I saw him play with the Wizards. He was probably 38 and gambled all night the night before.
I've been to a Wizards game when MJ was there. So I mean that one's tough for me just because I never watched him play, but I mean you've seen it. Like I watched the document. After I watched the documentary, actually, I went, you know what, dude, this guy was just something else.
Well, yeah, he was.
He would talk shit.
Yeah,
kind of like Larry Bird, right in your fucking face, and then he'd turn around and do it. And I think one of the best quotes ever was when he has the bat in his hand, and he goes, "Everybody loves to talk shit when they're up, but can you still talk shit while you're losing?"
Right.
That takes.
He had like that killer mentality. And it's hard to pick between the two. What's LeBron at 4 right now?
4 rings.
4 rings.
I think he can get to 6. I think he can.
It's possible. It definitely is. I mean, the Lakers he needs to get Anthony Davis back if he's going to have a chance.
Yeah.
But he doesn't look like he's slowing down one bit.
No, he looks amazing.
Where Michael, drank, gambled, played golf in the offseason.
Yeah.
LeBron is spending like $1 million
on his health.
on his health.
Yep.
So
that's
that's what Brady's doing.
Yeah,
now.
that's how much the game has changed and the evolution of every game, the NFL, all the leagues.
Yeah. Brady as well. But at the end of the day, it's like kind of the championships are, this much weight. The stats are this much, and then you kind of like put it all together, and that's how people end up ranking, who the best of all time is.
Who's the best pound for pound basketball player?
Pound for pound basketball
I'm
player.
going to say Allen Iverson.
I mean, pound for pound basketball player is LeBron James, I think.
Pound for pound? Okay.
Yeah.
When I say pound for pound, I take that back. What I mean by that is the dude was tiny.
Okay.
And he carried that Sixers team to that.
Oh, he was unreal. AI was unreal.
And yeah, I'd have to AI. I mean, granted, that's the thing in the NBA. If you don't win rings, no one fucking talks about you.
Right, and he's a good example of that. And he was at a time the face of the league as well.
Was MJ when he got there?
Right, and then
when he got there was MJ.
Iverson was the most popular player when we were growing up. Everyone wanted to be like AI. You got
the crossover.
The crossover. I mean, guy was iconic. He was.
Yeah.
He was like a cultural icon.
For sure. He was a dog. All right, so you're an MJ guy. I'm borderline. I'd have to say I probably lean towards LeBron just because.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of it. I follow LeBron. I don't have an NBA team, so I'll just follow LeBron. I'll root for the Lakers and fucking call me out however you want. And then so we got the NBA, NFL. Let's go to. We can talk about the NHL. I mean, you don't have to talk too much about it just because I know you don't know as much. But Rocket Richard, I mean, he was pretty fucking good. He won 11 Stanley Cups for the Montreal Canadiens, which is just
absurd.
So what era did he play?
Outrageous.
You're gonna have to school me on that.
70s, 80s, 60s, 70s.
Okay.
60s, 70s, and that's when the Canadians were. I mean, I think that he was probably on the team. I think they had when they went 72-10, like something stupid like that. Which in hockey is ridiculous. In basketball, it feels like it's a little bit more realistic. But on any given night in hockey, any team can win.
Yeah.
And obviously the GOAT is Wayne Gretzky, and that's undisputed. And I still think he has like 4 or 5 rings. But it's not even close. But I love to talk to you about this just because I know you're a Caps fan. Where do you think Ovechkin falls in like the grades? And I know you don't watch as much NHL, but I personally think he's top like 7 just because he's the greatest scorer ever.
Right. I mean, like my time watching the game, he's probably like the best that I've seen in his prime for
Crosby.
sure. Crosby was up there, but we hate Crosby.
We hate Crosby.
We hate Crosby in DC.
Bitch. Crosby, a little bitch.
Yeah.
A little whiny bitch.
He's a
is what he
whiner.
is.
He's a whiner.
Be nice.
But you could
Nice.
It's interesting though because they leave such a legacy. Like Gretzky leaves such a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
But a kid like Connor McDavid that's coming in and lighting the world on
Nathan
fire.
McKinnon.
Are they getting more skilled and better?
Nathan.
That's like all there are NBA people out there that love to dog the old people and say that they would get killed in today's game.
How mailmans would guard Michael Jordan.
Yeah, it just pisses me off. Like it's like not I don't like I agree. Like players are getting more skilled. Like you turn on film from the 80s, you're not going to see someone dribbling like Kyrie Irving. You're not going to see someone shooting the ball like Steph Curry, but they're still the best in the country at that time. Just because it was a different style of play doesn't mean that they were worse basketball players.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Pistol Pete Maravich might be the most talented player.
He was incredible.
And never won anything. Most people didn't even see him on TV because he played for the worst team.
Did he play for the Jazz or something?
He played for the New Orleans Jazz.
The New Orleans Jazz?
New Orleans
Little
Jazz.
correction, Rocket Richard played from 42 to 60.
Oh, way
Ooh.
off.
Yeah,
Jeez,
Damn.
he's an old guy.
Yeah.
Old guy, but still 11. And then lastly, baseball. This one's interesting, right? Because I don't think when you label the greatest in baseball, you actually, I think it's the one sport you don't look at rings.
I would agree. Like, the old cliche is like, looking for a 5-tool player. And I mean, obviously the first person you think about when you say that right now is Mike Trout.
Like Trout. Beast.
Has he ever played in the postseason?
His team has been, yes, I think he may have, but his team is awful. He's never been on a good team.
Right.
I think one of my favorite baseball players, I'm going to talk about Derek Jeter. I know he's not the greatest baseball player to ever play. I know he's not. I do think he's top 25 because he played for the Yankees. He won 5 rings. And I get into this with people all the time. Derek Jeter's overrated. And it drives me fucking bananas. Absolutely bananas. Oh, he won Gold Gloves when there weren't the metrics. Okay, so then how do you judge a Golden Glove? How did you judge a Golden Glove? He passed the eye test? Is that what he did? He was the eye test, so he was clearly the best shortstop. Why is that wrong for them giving a Golden Glove? So that's one thing. That's a load of shit. Okay? And second of all, they're like, oh, well, Derek Jeter played with A-Rod, and he played with Roger Clemens, and he played with all these guys. And it's like, yes, the Yankees, the baseball market is different. You can buy players. If you have a lot of money, there's no salary cap, you can buy whatever the hell you want. But if you're going to tell me that Derek Jeter only won World Series because of the guys around him, you could say that about every fucking team that has ever won a championship in any fucking sport ever.
Yeah.
Ever. He was the captain of the infield. He batted second. He was always the leader in hits. He would come up clutch. He'd make plays. And he did it in a very calm and respectful way, and he always kept his guys together. And for people to call Derek Jeter, it drives me absolutely insane that there's going to be people listening to this that are going to laugh their ass off because I would get into debates with my buddies in the office all the time. And, I mean, I don't know. You go ahead, but
there's something to be said about winning, doing it by being an all-star every year, and being the face of one of the most storied franchises
and getting your
in
number
all of
retired.
sports.
They retired his number.
So there's no argument there. I mean, if I'm sure you went back at them with this, but I didn't see A-Rod there in 98, 99, and 2000. Where was he then? Like who was he was the best player on the team there? No,
dude. I
know we were young, but he was there with what, like Bernie Williams, is
Hideki Matsui was
Jorge
there.
Posada.
Jorge. I mean, the team was good. It was a very good. It was a great
Right.
baseball team. But every great baseball team that has won a World Series was because they had great players at every position.
Mm-hmm.
And now they only want to use that argument for Derek Jeter because he was a fucking Yankee. That's the only reason. That's literally
Right.
the only reason.
Yeah, you just got to remember though. I mean, playing in New York is different than
Way
playing
different.
in
It's
a lot
way
of
different.
Places, but it's also about playing under pressure, and Jeter played very, very well under pressure.
And they had to accept you. I don't think did Jeter ever
He's
get
not the greatest shortstop to ever play the game by no means, but he was a great leader, and he was talented. The
And he's
guy
got
hit,
5.
You know, he could do everything.
He's got 5.
Yeah.
Should have 6.
He was in. There was never.
That loss to the Diamondbacks in the World Series, and I'm sure that broke your heart when you were watching that one. The Texas Leaguer up the middle or whatever it was that won.
Yeah. They
But-
were going for 4 in a row there, were they not?
But yeah, so I mean, I don't even. If I were to say who the greatest baseball player, I honestly probably couldn't put a name on it. I don't know. There's
It's so much more difficult.
like Ken Griffey Jr. had one of the most beautiful baseball swings ever. He was so natural. He was a good outfielder. People are Barry Bonds. I fucking hate steroids there. I hate it, and and that's a topic I actually wanted to get into. Maybe not now, but a different time. Is the game better with it or without it? Willie Mays, again, that's not my era, but I mean, the guy was a freak. He played outfield. He made these insane catches. He hit 600 something home runs.
Yeah. We gotta throw the greatest hitter of all time in there too.
Mm-hmm.
Pete Rose.
Pete Rose, yes. Oh my God, he's not in the Hall of Fame, is he?
No.
Yeah, that's.
I don't think
ridiculous.
that's
Some would say Ted Williams is the
I don't-
greatest.
Ted
Some
Williams.
would say that.
He batted 400. That's insane in a
Yeah.
season.
That is
What
crazy.
about Mickey Mantle?
Mickey
You like-
Mantle
Up there.
I mean, another Yankee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's more difficult. I feel like in baseball more than any other sport, we don't really look at the rings, and we're looking at, we're separating
Stats.
offense and defense.
It's all stats,
Yeah, we're separating offense and defense.
all statistic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think that's probably a good place to stop. But yeah, that was fun. Nice work, guys. That was
I have something.
yeah. Pop in here. Sure.
No,
While I'm trying to close
okay.
out the show.
No, it's worth it because I think you guys will find this quite funny. So you guys were talking about what a professional player can do outside of his contract for recreation, right, of injuries. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So this article back in 2050 is interesting. They talk about Rory McIlroy rupturing his ankle, which really,
It's like playing basketball or something.
Yeah, no, and then the Jason Pierre-Paul with the fireworks, and then one of it was the Jim Lundberg, who went skiing in Lake Tahoe. He was a Cy Young, just won the Cy Young, and then busts his legs. But this is kind of funny. Okay, so it goes down and it talks about what sports how they're changing the contracts now.
Okay.
So in the NBA, standard contract specifically prohibits boxing, professional wrestling, motorcycling,
Like WWE.
moped riding, auto racing, skydiving, and hang gliding.
Oh Lord.
That's funny, because
Pretty specific.
right. Well, Gronk has obviously been in the WWE, and then
Shaquille O'Neal's doing it right now. He's not playing anymore,
Shaq's
but-
been in it, but what was I watching? It might have been in the Jordan documentary. Didn't like Dennis Rodman
He was wild.
do a cameo while the finals was going on?
He might have been, yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking of something different.
They let him take
but
it. They let him take his little vacation during the playoffs or something.
That's funny that they throw
That is
that in
funny.
there.
Yeah.
NFL says any activity other than football which may involve a significant risk of personal injury. Baseball teams tend to be more specific. The Yankees once banned log rolling.
Log rolling.
That's a thing.
Someone, I mean, who the fuck goes log rolling? I mean,
is
I remember
what
that
the hell is
used to be
log
on that
rolling?
sounds like something that'd be on ESPN The Ocho.
Oh,
you know,
God.
with like cornhole. And
Oh,
shit.
like when it's in the water and you're like,
yeah,
kinda-
and you're just like that.
That's
And you're trying to stay up.
And the Washington Nationals actually prevent their players from piloting a plane. Just FYI.
That's fair. That's pretty fair.
That's yeah.
That was fun, Tanner. What do you think? How do you think we did?
it was a blast, man. I can only can't wait till we get some more topics.
Yeah, we get some guests on here. We'll get a better flow with it too. I thought that was pretty solid though. It was pretty good. Aubrey, you want to close us out with the final remarks?
I do. Well, this is our first podcast for Bleacher Bums. Thanks for listening.